Welcome, children. Let us take the sixth stanza. The 8 other athletes stopped in their tracks. The ones who had trained for so long to compete. One by one, they turned round and came back to help him and lifted the lad to his feet. So, we take up the next stanza, and what we find is the 8 athletes running the race. They saw what had happened. They found that the ninth participant had fallen down. All these athletes, they had trained for long hours, weeks and months to win medals. And winning the medal was something like their dream for them. But in the middle of achieving their dream, they all stopped on the tracks suddenly. Can you imagine what is the reason behind stopping all of a sudden? All of them turned around, came back to the athlete who had fallen on the ground.
After unlocking, tell to me.
They lifted the boy from the ground and made him stand on his feet. Lad refers to the boy, young fellow. Isn't it a surprising thing for everybody, for us to read that they all stopped? If you're in that place, we normal people, if we are in that place, we would think that we have worked hard months together. Why should we turn back now? Let us go ahead, win the race. We'll be happy at least one fellow is out. Now we have to compete with only 8 people. But no, these people were not like that. They are really extraordinary people. So we find that these 8 of them stopped on their tracks. Why did they stop? They stopped to help the injured contestant when they saw him falling on the track and crying. Did you ever expect such a thing from them? No, we never expected, because we never do such things. How can we expect somebody else to do? It shows that there was a bond between them, between the 9 athletes, that the disappointment of one person is shared by everyone else. If one is disappointed, it's shared by everybody. And before they could move ahead, they stopped in their tracks. When they saw that one boy has fallen down, they did not move ahead. They stopped in their place. The thought of running the race, winning the medals, all these things is gone from their mind. They completely forgot about it. Their only aim was, imagine how such a good thought could come to their mind. All of them, they ran back to help the youngest and maybe the dearest among them, to help him. We find these athletes who were supposed to compete and win a medal, which was their aim, instead of all these things, they stopped on the track to help the fellow contestant to stand on his feet. This is a contradiction we find at this minute. Here we find that he lifted, there's a phrase, lifted the lad to his feet. All the other 8 contestants held the boy who had fallen down to stand up on his feet. And this was not expected from all of them. We never expected such things. The participants here, all of them together, they're giving us one message that human values are more important, are equally important, you can say, as the spirit of competition. We must have a competitive spirit whenever we participate in any competition. At the same time, human values are also important. When somebody is crying, we cannot think of our own aims and goals. Can you think, can you imagine why these 8 athletes behave in such a manner? These 8 athletes, they put themselves in the youngest athlete's shoes and felt empathy for him. They forgot their own dreams and they felt concern for the youngest athlete. So generally, we find human behavior is contagious and it spreads. For example, when you see somebody is crying, you feel pity. When somebody is smiling, you also smile back. The same way, when maybe one out of them turn to help, same way, others also turn back. And at that moment, all of them, they felt the same. What did they feel? That they should help him at that minute. Do you think they planned for that earlier? That if somebody happens to fall down or anything happens, we should all go together and help him? No, it was not a pre-planned act. It was not planned earlier. It just happened spontaneously. And it was a good deed. And we find this unexpected response from the 8 participants. This unexpected reaction shocked and surprised everybody, those who were in the stadium. That is the beauty of the poem here, we find. Then all 9 runners joined hands and continued. The 100 meters reduced to a walk, and the banner above that said Special Olympics could not have been nearer the mark. Then they forgot their desire that I must go ahead of others. I must win the medal. That thought is completely gone now. The 9 of them, they held each other's hands and turned this 100 meters race into a walk. The 100 meters race was changed to a walk, 100 meters walk. And the poet says that there's a banner above which says, which reads Special Olympics in big letters, is justified by the behavior, exemplary behavior of these 9 athletes walking together towards the finishing line. The spectators who were there watching all this, it was really a new twist seeing the action of the athletes, which they could not believe, although they saw. Their action is special. As this Olympic is special, This Olympics is special, same way their action also is special. And everything is special now. The spirit of empathy, which is seen, also is very special, we find. And what does, if we recollect, what does the banner say? Special Olympics. Special because the action of 9 athletes also is special. Actually, it is for disabled people, but their action also is special now. And the banner, we find that these 9 runners, they reduced this 100 meters to a walk because they found that their own friend has fallen down and he is crying with pain. How must, how these spectators must have reacted seeing the whole thing. The spectators must have been moved by the beautiful gesture of these contestants. They must have cheered them as they were walking towards the finishing line. Maybe all the spectators must have given a standing ovation to these contestants. So, as the banner read, Special Olympics, there is an emphasis on the word special because of the action of the 8 contestants carrying the injured one along with them in the last day of this last event. This is the speciality of this games. This gesture itself is special and it is justified what is written on the banner. 9 beautiful, beaming faces crossing the finishing line together. They were walking hand in hand and they turned the race into a walk. So, sports is not just about winning medals. We learn different values, cooperation. Ever don't think that sports is waste of time. Everything done in proper time, in proper way is always good. Keeping this in mind, don't all the time play and say that teacher told playing is not a waste of time. So please don't do that. You should play. At the same time, you should also study. We learn various values like cooperation, sharing, competing, complimenting also. We appreciate others. This ability to understand another person's feelings and experiences, that's what we say empathy. We come to know through this sport. The human values are very important as the spirit of competition is important. Here we find the contestants, they put aside their desires, the desire to win the medal, their aims, their goals. For what? To help a weaker fellow, a smaller, youngest one among the contestants. They all go hand in hand in the spirit of friendship, you can say, to the finishing line. In the competition, we should put that I feeling aside and have the feeling we together. Sympathy, sensitivity to the pains of others. although we lose a medal, but the lesson we learn, the satisfaction you get is something really different, which you cannot even get. You cannot get even though you get a medal for that. Medal may give you satisfaction, but this is something different. That's how the race ended with 9 gold medals. They came to the finishing line holding hands still, and the banner above and the 9 smiling faces said more than these words ever will. Said more than these words ever will. All of them came to the finishing line. How did they come? They were holding hands, each other's hands. And the race ended. How? The race ended with the 9 of them touching the finishing line together. In this way, all the 9 of them won the gold medals. The banner in the stadium, which said Special Olympics, is proved in a special way. There was a smile on the faces of the 9 athletes, which expressed more than the words ever could. And all the 9 athletes, they displayed empathy, turning the Special Olympics truly into a special one. As there is a saying, action speaks louder than words. We find these 9 smiling faces in the track event doing a different activity is a special thing here. We don't know what spirit in them guided them to do such thing, to behave in such an extraordinary way, which happened spontaneously. They spontaneously reacted to the action of a person. It was an exemplary behavior. Seeing one person turning back, others also were inspired to join the first fellow and imitate him. Such actions, so that in such occasions, which is an unexpected one, it cannot be reversed. If one falls down, all the others running away, later you come back and you help him. That is a different thing, that everybody does it. The spirit of empathy which these 8 people have shown is really praiseworthy in this poem. And we find it gives us a kind of message, we can say, that we should also have such a feeling. Here, these smiling faces said more than these words ever will, he said. And the banner above and the 9 smiling faces said more than these words ever will. 9 smiling faces were enough to convey their true feeling. The organizing committee of this Special Olympics, they decided to give 9 gold medals to all the 9 contestants of the 100 meters race, because they felt that there was no other way we could appreciate these people, the empathy they have shown to the 9th one. Never we have heard such a thing happening. Never we have seen such a situation. Even if we have seen, but it was an unexpected one. It was not a pre-plan. It was spontaneous, a noble gesture on the part of the athletes. And we find this 9 gold medals is really an appropriate title. 9 gold medals, it also reminds us, it's a reminder of 9 golden hearts. They had a golden heart, these 9 people. This whole thing is connected to the theme. The participants competing with one another for different medals. At the same time, they are also feeling when they find the way they express themselves and they find one of the contestant has fallen down. These 9 competitors are given 9 gold medals because of their ability to understand each other and also accept others who are different from them. They are privileged people, less privileged people, you can say. These medals, 9 medals, were the symbols of empathy and of great human value.
Yeah.
This kind of behavior should be appreciated and applauded by each one of us because it's not a simple thing. They were also proud of being together, who stood for each other, understood each other's problem, helped each other, even though they were going to lose the medal. Here, for them, their individual prize was not important, but helping others was important for them. They were happy. They came to the finishing line happily, not because they have won the gold medal, but they felt proud for what they have done. They were very happy. And surely, I hope all the spectators must have given them a standing ovation. So, this poem gives a message that human values, especially kindness, cooperation, empathy, are important in life. Although they practiced strenuously, these athletes, for months to run and to win the medal, they did not bother. But the idea of caring and sharing, they gave more importance than winning and losing. Sports means it's just not winning or losing, winning medals. We should also learn different values. If you see this poem, these contestants, they came together just like a group. How they stood for each other. The true sportsman spirit was seen in them. The sportsmanship is not only to be seen in the activity, sports activity, but also we must see in other things also in our day-to-day life. We should play a fair game. We should respect the other fellow participants. Here, David Roth tells us that how human values in the sports, in a sports person, are important as a spirit of competition. where athletes come from all over the country, and they want to make their own country proud by winning medals. And in the poem, we find all are ready to run the race. And when one falls, the other contestants are there immediately. They pull up their heels to help the young man, young boy. This is an exemplary scene. True spirit of sportsmanship is displayed, and how they reduce the 100 meters race into a walk. All of them cross the finishing line together, and the compassion they show for their fellow competitor is really very worthy. So we conclude this poem